welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez. I go live Monday nights on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys check out the show when I go live, and make sure you guys absolutely participate in that super chat. Welcome to your favorite wrestling fan here. After watching a week of wrestling, gotta be honest, I got some things to talk about. I'm just kidding, no, but today we're gonna talk about my first segment. We're gonna talk about some AEW Dynamite. In our second segment, we got TNA Impact results, also Ring of Honor. In our third segment, we're going to talk about NXT Vengeance Day. We're gonna preview. I'm gonna give you guys some predictions. And, I'm hoping for a good pay-per-view. I think it's just going to be super... Well, not pay-per-view, PLE. Do people even say pay-per-views anymore? Maybe if you're an AEW fan, perhaps. But, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It has a pretty stacked card. Also, we're going to talk about AEW Grand Slams. But, actually not going to be a pay-per-view. There was rumors actually stating that it was supposed to be a pay-per-view, although I, highly doubt it. They probably could have got some takers, being honest. They could have got some buyers there, but having it stream on HBO Max simultaneously as well as on TNT is pretty badass. I like the fact that it's after the NBA All-Star Game. So, you're going to have potentially maybe some people, they put it on the All-Star Game, walk away from the TV. Around that time, you're kind of, getting the kids ready for bed, or, for some people, having a late dinner, or maybe having some drinks with some friends, or, playing cards or hanging out with the wife, and you just like, what, I just need some background noise. So then maybe potentially this could be a highly rated show for AEW. I think it would be, I think it's going to be great. It has a, pretty stacked card as well, just like NXT Vengeance Day. So we're going to talk about that. In our fifth and final segment, we got WWE Superstars released. We're going to talk about them, we're going to talk about maybe why they got released, maybe some potential future landing spots for them. We're also going to talk about, and this is totally speculations, I have no inside sources whatsoever, I have a handful of superstars that are maybe potentially in trouble of losing their character, maybe on the back burner, or maybe in line of being released next. Although I do not wish release upon anybody whatsoever, but we're going to talk about some stars that if they don't step it up, or if they don't get a storyline quick, they can possibly be saying bye to WWE. So we're going to get into that in our fifth and final segment. But before we do any of that, just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up the comment section. Definitely when we go live on our shows, hit up that super chat, those super stickers, because we super love you. And whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of the professional wrestling, go to leave a comment no matter what. Just want to make sure you guys feel like your voice is part of the mix, so don't be shy. Drop your comments inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed during a live show, hit up that super chat. Obviously, we are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network, who checks out all the videos. Superman punch that like and subscribe button to that show and make all your dreams come true. Of course, if your dreams are watching more podcasts about professional wrestling. So let's get this party going. Like I said, feel free to comment. The GSMC Sports Network is all about, peace, love, and positivity 1,010%. So let's make this podcast the best wrestling podcast in the world. Gonna need your help for that. So make sure you guys drop your comments inside that chat and, subscribe and hit a thumbs up. All right, without further ado, let's talk about our first segment. We're going to talk about some AEW Dynamite. Dynamite was, I checked highlights. I got to be honest, I was pretty busy this week. But it was at the HEB Center in Austin, Texas. It all started out with Edge stealing I think it showed Edge stealing the briefcase or something like that. I'm not too sure. Or maybe that's the way, when I watched the highlights, that was like the first thing they wanted to show me. But I thought that was pretty crazy. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, all right, okay, so he stole the briefcase at the end of the night, only to kind of be, I was a little disappointed about how it all ended. But, it was build up. It was a build up toward AEW Grand Slam Australia. So, I get it. It happened, and it was cool. Obviously, the same commentary team. We saw Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, also Nigel McGuinness. So we saw Max Caster. I don't know why I want to say Craster. Max Caster taking on the Hangman Adam Page. This was, from head to toe, just a squash match. Just a squash match of, Max Caster recently, well, not even recently anymore. Like, he was approached by MVP. He wanted to give him the card, kind of him blowing smoke up his arse, gaslighting him, saying that he was one of the best wrestlers in AEW. He's kind of been going off the rails for that. We don't really have, the Acclaimed anymore. They're probably they're broken up. I'm gonna go off and confidently say that we're probably not gonna see the Acclaimed anymore in AEW, which is I feel like fans liked them. They overall were a pretty likable stable. Obviously, but I feel like when Daddy Ass left, it kind of all went to crap. So, but obviously this was a nice little, momentum for Hangman Adam Page, making his way back to AEW after his suspension about, I think it was 4 months ago when he was suspended by the Elite, or Matthew Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks. But ever since making it back to AEW, he's made such an imprint, starting, he had his feud with Swerve. A lot of people didn't like that, but I felt like AEW creative writing kind of found a great way to kind of balance the act, where people could potentially take the side of Hangman Adam Page, and some people could potentially take the side of the AEW World Champ. No, I think he lost it beforehand. I think he did. No, yeah, he did. He lost it to Bryan Danielson. It was a nice little storyline, and now both of them obviously doing their own thing. But Hangman Adam Page, he wins, he loses. I feel like he's like the perfect superstar right now, and he's right now. Him and MJF are starting, they're starting their feud, which is going to be big. It's gonna be pretty badass. I definitely think they're gonna have a match at AEW Revolution. So looking forward to that. AEW's Trios Tag Team Champions, the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta took on the Undisputed Kingdom. It was nice to see Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly back together. I know they wrestled sometime outside of WWE, but it was kind of cool to see the Undisputed Era again. I loved the Undisputed Era. I thought, when those 4 guys were released, Roderick Strong, the only person we're missing is Bobby Fish. It was a shock. It was a shock because I felt they didn't really even get a chance to really fight on the main roster on Raw or SmackDown. But maybe during that time maybe it was for the best. Maybe they saw a sunken ship. Maybe they saw the way Vince McMahon was handling talent being promoted from the Black and Gold brand up to Raw or SmackDown, and it just wasn't looking good. And it caused a lot of superstars like Aleister Black, like Ember Moon, like Keith Lee, kind of saw their demise. Lars Sullivan. A lot of these wrestlers kind of fell under the radar, and not a lot of people, thought of picking them up. And so far, all those superstars, they did find success outside of WWE. But as of right now, I feel like the only one really thriving that used to be on NXT would probably be Athena. I'm trying to think of other superstars that were on NXT that I can't think of right now. But no, it was it was all good. It was all good. It was it was a good match. Kind of, I hated how the Death Riders, they just seem to just keep winning and winning and winning. It was a nice match between 6 talented guys. So, and right now the Death Riders were, especially Claudio Castagnoli, I felt like was kind of like on a downpour of, he was kind of losing a little bit. So, I don't know. It was, kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy. All right, next we have MJF and Hangman Adam Page interaction. Obviously, MJF was being interviewed by Renee Paquette. MJF said that no amount of paint on your face will hide your shame. Hangman Adam Page interrupted MJF, made a booze joke, and Page said is that the best you got? MJF said that whatever this is not whole Page. This isn't whole Pages, which is weird to kind of, I don't know. But anyways, so, this feud is going to be great. I can't wait for it to finally come in fruition. We've been begging for the past couple of interactions where Hangman Adam Page interrupted MJF and MJF interrupted Hangman Adam Page. So, disrespect from both sides. I want to see these 2 talented superstars go at it. Both of them are on their prime. Both of them are very, at their prime very much. MJF, and Hangman Adam Page, potentially, AEW World Champions once again. That, I feel like any one of those guys would be. I do love Mox. I love what John Moxley's doing right now with with the Death Riders and how he's holding AEW up, especially after I felt like Swerve did a pretty good job too as the AEW World Champion. Samoa Joe was good. I thought he was pretty badass. Bryan Danielson was just kind of like I felt like it was kind of like a flare. He won the championship from Swerve, and then he was going to retire. Who do you think's going to hold the company on their back with such high reputation, take care of it? And obviously John Moxley was the best decision because he was kind of like the new flavor. He lost his IWGP championship and made it back to AEW full time, and now he's running the biz. So it would be cool to kind of see these three guys go at it potentially in a triple threat match moving forward. But I'm very high on these on MJF and Hangman Adam Page. Next, we have Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata defeating John Cruz, Aaron Solo, and Rosario Grillo. I think it's Grillo. It was an easy squash match. Samoa Joe, these three men, obviously kicking ass, taking names. I guess their group name, the Ops, is highly unliked. It could be better. The Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho and Brian Keith were interviewed by Renee Paquette. Jericho complained about Bandito, saying he wanted Keith to watch Jericho collect the bounty for Bandito. Jericho challenged Bandito to a showdown. Keith told Renee not to embarrass him in front of Jericho once again. So are we going to get a different storyline here for the Bad Apple? I felt like the Bad Apple was pretty cool. And then now this whole learning tree thing, I feel like it's kind of faltering. I kind of see a little bit of animosity between Jericho and Big Bill. Maybe this might be a great way for Big Bill and the Bounty Hunter to kind of, just kind of stem away Chris Jericho right now. I feel like in terms of his wrestling career, his illustrious wrestling career with a bunch of accomplishments in and outside of the ring, I love myself some Chris Jericho. I absolutely, admire, will forever, ever respect Y2J. But I don't know. It might be time to call it quits. You know what I mean? Right now, I know he's just there. He's there to put over young talent. He did it. He did it for Hook during their feud. Now he's doing it with he's doing it with Powerhouse Hobbs. Now he's doing it with who is that? Who's facing him for the Ring of Honor World Championship? I can't think of it right now. Maybe Bandito. So I don't know. I just feel like Jericho. Maybe he's exactly where he is right now. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too attached to it. Willow Nightingale was being interviewed by Renee Paquette, who was attacked by Marino Shafir. Once again, the Death Riders doing their thing. John Moxley walked in saying that Adam Copeland is a dead man walking. So not really, once again, the Death Riders run this show. The Elite storyline just kind of faltered. We barely see Kaz Okada anymore. We barely see Jack Perry, and the Young Bucks just often dipped to New Japan Professional Wrestling. So, the storyline was kind of a lux, but I feel like right now they're on a better page than what they were. Dustin Rhodes takes on Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Obviously, the fans were strongly behind Dustin in his hometown of Austin, and everybody just hates MJF, which is pretty cool. He's such a great heel. Obviously, Hangman getting the win with a submission. Dustin passed out in the hold, so MJF got the win. It went on for 11 minutes, so it was a very good, awesome matchup. After the match, MJF started attacking Rhodes. Hangman Adam Page comes out for the save, and then they both end up, squabbling a little bit. Most likely setting up a match toward Revolution next month. Like I said, two guys absolutely in their prime favorites, and it's gonna be such a badass rivalry. I can't wait. Megan Bayne defeats Maya World. I feel like this was kind of a squash match as well. It lasted about a minute. F5 bam. And Megan Bayne once again continues her momentum to possibly be a face or a competitor within the women's AEW title picture. So, always rooting for somebody new to kind of come along. Always. Chris Statlander defeats Penelope Ford. I love Chris Statlander. I think she is essentially kind of what embodies the TBS championship. I thought she should have beat Mercedes Moné the second time they faced. But, it is what it is. Chris Statlander would be an amazing TBS champion. But, Harley Cameron is taking on Mercedes Moné at AEW Grand Slam Australia. So maybe potentially we'll see a different face. Maybe Harley Cameron, who has all the talent in the world, could, potentially be the one to dethrone Mercedes Moné. But overall, very impressive performance for Chris Statlander. AEW Tag Championships, we had the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin defeat the Guns. It was... it was exactly what the match was supposed to be. The Guns came in, seemed like they had the momentum, seemed like they were going to win, seeming like they are tag team competitors and they're not going anywhere. But, AEW right now, Tony Khan, high on Bobby Lashley, high on Shelton Benjamin. Recently, Cedric Alexander was released by WWE. Maybe we might get him on AEW to finally have the three back together. And I would love it. I would definitely love to see the Hurt Business turn into the Hurt Syndicate 2.0. So I would definitely love to see Cedric Alexander in that role. But, all in all, no one's really stopping this gang right now. The Hurt Business, they hurt people. We hurt people. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not trying to dog it or anything. But, it is what it is. It's cool. It's all good. Mariah May, the Women's World Champion, was backstage saying that everyone will realize that Mariah did it better. May claimed that Toni Storm wouldn't exist without May, and it stops now. May said maybe she loves Storm because this is going to be a mercy killing. And I beg to differ. I love Mariah May. She's cool and all. But when the title's around the waist of Toni Storm, she just made it so much more. I don't know if it's the theatrical of the timeless Toni Storm aspect of it, but I don't know. Or I don't know. Because Mariah May, it was cool, the way she turned on her, and then she had the high heel stuck in her head, and it was crazy. After winning the Owen Hart Cup, just to add insult to injury, and so she got that title shot, and she dethroned Toni Storm, but now they're back at it again. Can't wait to see this match. One of the matches I'm looking forward to, actually the most, watching this upcoming Saturday. Totally, I think Sunday. Yeah, I think Sunday. Totally stoked about it. Totally stoked. So at the end of the show, you had Jon Moxley finally accept Cope's challenge. Him and Jay White were smashing that briefcase, trying to get the AEW World Championship out of there. Jon Moxley obviously said, my blood, sweat, and tears were inside that title, and my soul is inside that ring. And he's the protector of the AEW World Championship. Which is kind of cool. The Death Riders at one point looked like they were probably going to, end the show as well as they always do. But now they're building up major momentum, kind of being victors in that trio bout against the Undisputed Kingdom. So, overall, like I said, checked out highlights, Dynamite. It was good. It was good. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our TNA Impact and Ring of Honor results. So, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Pacific Time. live. And throughout the week, I do upload a lot of wrestling content, so make sure you guys smash that Superman punch, that like and subscribe button to the show, and all your dreams will come true. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, and drama, inactive statuses, injury updates. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions from AEW to WWE to the NWA to, Deathlock Professional Wrestling, MLW, from makes major news in the world of professional wrestling. We talk about it here on this show. Sometimes we actually rummage in some of the history as well, like WCW, maybe some ECW. We talk about everything. If it's something cool to talk about, we talk about it here on this show 1010%. So without further ado, let's talk about some TNA Impact, also some Ring of Honor. But before we do that, just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that comment section, whether if you got a burning question or hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling, leave a comment. We will get back to you. Your voice is all we care about. Don't be shy. Drop your comments. Also, be sure to know that your voice is heard. We want to hear you guys. I'm dying to hear what you guys have to say. Plus, it's a great way to support the channel. Obviously, we definitely depend on your guys' support. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here and checks out our videos daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So to keep this party going, when we are live, you send in those super chats, send in those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome, and together we will make sure this is the best wrestling podcast in the whole entire world. So without further ado, let's talk about TNA Impact. TNA Impact. San Antonio, Texas? I think I could be wrong. Checking out my notes right here. Yeah, the Boeing Center in San Antonio, Texas. So right off the bat, we got the TNA World Championship match between Joe Hendry and Jake Something. I was super duper kind of high on Jake Something for about a month. No, maybe for about 3 weeks during the summer. I felt like he had so much momentum. But, Joe Hendry is the face of TNA right now. It's definitely the direction they want to go to. An international sensation he is. He's very, very gifted, very likable, around the world, social media. When he came to NXT, when he made his debut in the Royal Rumble, fans they went bonkers. Although he was kind of tossed out by Roman Reigns, I felt like a little prematurely. I felt like maybe he should have eliminated Roman Reigns. That would have been pretty cool, but that would have never, ever happened. But we can always dream. We believe, right? We believe. So it's kind of cool to see Joe Hendry, obviously, still TNA World Champion. I don't think his title reign's going to go away anytime soon. He's going to hold on to it for quite some time. Right now, I can't really think of anybody on the TNA roster who would not just beat him or would be a better replacement in terms of Joe Hendry. So, I feel like his title reign is just beginning. So, definitely can't wait to, see that. Santino Marella was backstage icing his jaw. The Nemeths ran up to him, and Nick apologized to Santino, said that he had a lot of respect for the Nemeth family, which is why the decision to suspend Nick for 4 weeks was a hard one. Ryan tried to argue, but Nick told him to quit it. Ryan is God. He keeps pulling Nick into these situations, keeps pulling him into his problems. He's annoying. Definitely 1,010%. I agree that he's 1,010% annoying. So, a nice little brother feud, maybe that'd be pretty cool. Ash and Heather by Elegance defeat the King Bees. I always keep thinking that these girls are going to become the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, but I do love Danny Luna and Jody Threat of Spitfire. Definitely one of my favorite women tag teams in all of wrestling. Ash and Heather by Elegance would be an interesting match for Jade Cargill, also Bianca Belair. You kind of have the powerhouses, and then you kind of have. I feel like this would be a great match. This would be amazing. I do. The King Bees, they're all right. You know what I mean? But you can't defeat the Elegance. You can't. These girls are literally one of the best. They're good heel characters. And I feel like ultimately. They do deserve another shot at the championship. I don't know if maybe they're, saving Ash for a one-on-one match with Masha to, maybe be the new TNA, Knockouts champion. Maybe not. But, I would love to see more from this tag team because these girls are truly amazing at what they do when they're inside the ring. They have an awesome tandem, awesome chemistry. They kick ass. So So yeah, Mustafa Ali had a press conference. He renamed the Good Hands the Great Hands. He appointed Tasha Steelz as his press secretary. Ali proclaimed himself as the number one contender for the TNA World title. He asked everyone in attendance if they agree. There was silence. Tommy Dreamer walked in. He needs, definitely agree with that. Mustafa Ali going up against Joe Hendry. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great match. Mustafa Ali, I feel like ultimately is kind of like one of the faces of the X Division. But right now the X Division is being run by a heavyweight. So maybe a little bit of crisscross applesauce, kind of a little bit of a different flavor. Having somebody with the talents of Mustafa Ali, high flyer, can definitely get the job done. Within his arsenal, he's also a pretty technical damn wrestler as well. Don't really see him hit any submissions though. Maybe once in a while, but I feel like ultimately he does rely on on his speed, on his high flying abilities, and Joe Hendry is kind of like more of a technical, like kind of a brutish kind of wrestler, ground and pound power. So this is definitely an awesome 50-50 match where you kind of have two different competitors, different strong styles. And, it's going to collide. So, let's see if speed could beat strength. And let's see if power could overall defeat agility. So, it should be interesting. Frankie Kazarian wins by submissions, defeating Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan, too, man. He's kind of going... Well, I don't know. I don't want to say he's slumping because he does here and there get some victories. But, he's been... It's all right. Kazarian's pretty cool. You love him or you hate him. Kazarian will always be a part of TNA. And you got to respect that. I would love to see Frankie Kazarian go and challenge. Do what JDC did, challenge for the Heritage Cup. That would be pretty badass. That would be pretty damn badass. Gia Miller was backstage with Josh Alexander, who wrestles his last TNA match. Alexander said that he felt all sorts of emotions. He's annoyed that his last match has to be against someone he looked up to in his whole entire TNA run. Alexander, there's been rumors, there's been speculations that, Jordan Grace hinted at potentially him coming to the WWE, potentially maybe being in NXT. I would love to see him in NXT. WWE, not too much travel. I feel like Josh Alexander could definitely fit somewhere in NXT. But, it's up to him. He's been around the wrestling industry for quite some time. He's the longest reigning TNA world champion. I believe that record still stands. But I know he wants to, wants to even the odds, or he wants to square up his debt against Eric Young. And, Eric Young, too. He's paid his dues. in TNA. Definitely admire him. I remember watching it back when it was like in its heyday back in 2006, 2007. And he was kind of like this dorky guy, He was kind of like, now he was, he went to WWE and did Sanctity? I think it was Sanctity. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. And then, then he comes to TNA back home and he kicks ass. So, definitely admire those two wrestlers. Would love to see Josh. I definitely think Josh is definitely one of the best technical wrestlers. Kind of reminds you of like a Kurt Angle, and he can get the job done inside the ring. As a heel, as a babyface, it's all gravy, baby, whatever he decides to do. Cora Jade still building up momentum. She wins. She defeats Xia Brookside. Cora Jade defeating Bayley Tuesday night and now defeating the Brookside on Thursday. Nice little momentum heading up toward Vengeance Day. It's cool to see Cora. I kind of hated when she came back. She kind of faltered to the side of the then WWE NXT World Women's Champion Roxanne Perez. I hated that. I feel like overall she is a top tier competitor within the women's division on NXT and obviously on TNA. I want to see a different direction for Cora Jade. I feel like if you give people the chance to like her, she'll be liked. But if you have her she's a pretty good heel too. I gotta be honest. She is a pretty damn good heel. She fits it pretty well. I'm excited to see what they decide to do next. Ariana Grace tried to talk to Tessa Blanchard. Tessa obviously abusing her. Santino Marella walked by and told her to stop. Marella accuses Tessa of avoiding matches lately. She said she works by her own schedule. Blanchard laughed off Santino's threats and consequences, so he set up a match next week. So, Tessa, I'm not that high on Tessa. Definitely not too high on Tessa. So, The Rascals, they're still doing their thing in TNA. They're sick of Tyson and Tyreek. Obviously, Wesley still kind of being a brute, and still kind of being a thorn in the side of his former running mates, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. So it's always good to see Wesley on TNA. I feel like he belongs there. I feel like he would be such a great X Division champion. Definitely 1,010%. So yeah, I can't wait to see that. So we have a TNA Knockouts World Championship. Masha Slamovich, obviously by pinfall, and still champion Masha. Still doing what it takes. I don't know who's going to challenge her next, but there's obviously a little bit of a, there's a couple suitors lining up, so to speak. That being Cora Jade, that being Tessa, and I think that's it. Those are the two that I would like to see. We had Eric Young with the Northern Armory taking on Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander, obviously couldn't do it, couldn't get it done. Eric Young gets the victory. It was kind of cool, like Josh Alexander said, wrestling against somebody you looked up to this whole entire time. It was, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Impact went off the air, the Northern Armory waving goodbye to, Josh Alexander. So, I would love to see Josh Alexander in NXT, but he's been TNA for quite some time. He's been quiet in TNA. He's great. He's great, 1,010%. But obviously, if he had to walk out, fighting a fellow friend, fighting a fellow coworker that he respects so much, then kudos. Definitely 1,010%. I would love to see that. Eric Young still building up momentum. It'd be interesting to kind of find out when he gets a title shot. But it is what it is. It was great. I thought it was a good episode. I definitely thought it was a good episode. I can't wait to find out what happens next week. We have a concert by Joe Hendry, so that's always a good watch. All right, so now let's move on to some Ring of Honor talk. Brought to you by Chris Jericho, right? Chris Jericho had his didn't he have his wrestling thing or something like that? Sorry, I wrote down in my notes, but I can't find it. But yeah, so we had Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal gets back into the winning column, taking on defeating Mason Madden with Mansoor. I want to see those guys finally get some success, man. I feel like wherever Mansoor goes, he's been kind of not abused. I don't want to say that because that sounds a little like macabre, but I don't know. Maybe just a little bit. Harley Cameron defeats Billy Starks, which is a big win for Harley. Now she's on this huge run. She's on her roll. Will she become the new TBS champion at Grand Slam Australia? I would love to see it. I feel like we need a different taste. We need a different style in the women's division on AEW, and having Harley Cameron with her, with her concerts, with her puppetry or whatever, ventriloquism. I don't even know if I said that word correctly. I feel like it's something that AEW needs. The whole Mercedes Moné thing, don't mess with Mercedes Moné, money changes everything, all this yada yada yada. I feel like there needs to be something different. Mercedes Moné, badass girl, great wrestler, dominant. Mariah May, badass girl, dominant. She's very like more of a down, kind of a vibe, I guess you can say. But she's a great wrestler. Harley Cameron would definitely change AEW. I feel like they'd get they'd get more viewers. I feel like they would. I feel like there's a lot of people who are rooting for Harley, and if Mercedes Moné wants to drop the title to somebody, I feel like putting over Cameron in this position would be better than her retaining. I feel like if Mercedes Moné retains, I feel like it would do a little bit more harm than good, I guess you can say, because then just this narrative of the moment she came to AEW, she's done nothing but make money. She's done nothing but being the spotlight, done nothing but win championships. And I don't know. I feel like this would be good for Mercedes as well. Sometimes I know she's undefeated. I know she's undefeated on Dynamite. I think in singles competition. Yeah, but I don't know. Billy Starks is a good competitor as well. I thought she was going to be the one to dethrone Athena for that Ring of Honor World Women's Championship. But Future. We still have the future. AEW International Champion Konosuke Takeshita defeats Tommy Billingsley in an eliminator match. The Outrunners defeated the Grizzled Young Veterans. Ricochet defeats Serpentico. Commander defeats Nick Wayne to retain the Ring of Honor World Championship. Nick Wayne, obviously part of the patriarchy. And I wonder when Christian Cage is going to, cash in that contract. I feel like it's going to be good. I feel like it's going to be pretty badass. And if he cashes it in on Cope, that would be even badass. They were a huge tag team. They come to AEW to, explore different sides of their wrestling capabilities. And, and it's all, I feel like it's all good. It's all great. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about WWE NXT Vengeance Day preview. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage to join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Sorry, not Monday through Friday, only on Mondays on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show so you can get notifications when I go live. Also, get notifications when a new video is published. I do turn in some wrestling content during the week. Try to stick up for it, trying to be all I can be. Trying to be Mr. Man here. I'm just kidding. No, just the guy trying to make it in a country that's so damn, for a state, that's so damn expensive, man. Living in California, it's amazing. It is. You got the mountains, you got the, when it snows, you got the snow, you have the lakes, the ocean, the theme parks, the shopping, the entertainment, the sports. Like, you pay for it, but it is what it is. I gotta stop complaining about it and just be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Make sure you guys hit up that tips and donations link. Make sure you guys comment. Make sure you guys feel comfortable to comment. Definitely 1,010%. So yeah, all right, we're gonna talk about some NXT Vengeance Day. Obviously we're going to be in Washington D.C. at the Care First Arena. Sorry, excuse me. This is going to be I feel like this is going to be one of the better PLEs in NXT this year. A lot of star-studded matches. I mentioned it before. We have a pretty stacked card. We're going to start off. We have Ethan Page taking on Javon Evans. I believe this is a non-sanctioned match because, Ava doesn't want to be liable toward what happens to Javon Evans. This is a great match. This is a great match for Evans. It's a great match for Ethan Page. Ultimately, I feel like if I had to make a prediction, I would put Evans over Ethan Page. I thought Ethan Page during the portal was going to find himself on Raw or SmackDown, but maybe that they're kind of saving something for it. It'd be interesting to kind of see him, he's already had his chance at the Don. He's had his chance at Trick Williams, and I don't think he would ever come back to fight Oba. Javon Evans is a young rising star. Within the past couple of months, he's kind of found himself in a loser column more often than less. This would be a big win for him. Absolutely a nice little feud that they have. Like I said, I think it's non-sanctioned, so I think it's going to be a hardcore match. I would really see no benefit of Ethan Page defeating Javon Evans here. He's a young rising star. He needs a high-on victory heading toward NXT Stand and Deliver WrestleMania season. And, I definitely would think Ethan Page would have left NXT to go on Raw and SmackDown. I don't know what happened. I felt like that would have been perfect. But, it's going to be a good match. Honestly, could be a sleeper for one of the best matches. We have a strap match. I'm not a huge strap match kind of guy. I got to be honest. It's not, it doesn't really tickle my fancy. We have Eddie Thorpe taking on Trick Williams. Trick Williams, I feel like, is going to win. He's going to defeat Eddie Thorpe. Eddie Thorpe, man, he did a full 360. He blames, Ava. He blames Shawn Michaels. He blames the people for turning their back on him. And, of course, you have Whoop That Trick. The Whoop That Trick era is over. But he has to fight Oba. He has a rematch. And I think we're going to see that Stand and Deliver. I think we are. I see maybe potentially Trick Williams regaining the NXT World Championship from Oba. But Oba, he's very dominant. Very, very dominant. I don't really see him or his reign losing to anybody who's not the face of NXT. This would be the second occasion that Trick Williams would be champion, I think. 2-time NXT. I could be... Yeah, no. 2-time NXT champion because Ethan Page defeated him. And then I think he... God, why am I blanking right now? Who did Ethan Page... Oh, damn it. But this is going to be one of those, obviously a lot of strap hits. Maybe some rear naked chokes. I honestly don't know why they put a strap match. I don't know. You know what? Then again, don't let me ruin your time. People who like strap matches out there, kudos. NXT World Tag Team Championship time. We got Nathan Frazier and Axiom taking on Josh Briggs and I always say it wrong. Damn it. Yoshiki Inumura. I feel like Nathan Frazier and Axiom had defeated everybody in NXT as of right now. They seem like they defeat some of the top tag teams in TNA Impact. So having the title on something different like Briggs and Inumura could definitely, because you've got the high flying of Fraxium. Now you're going to get more of a power where it seems like a lot of the NXT tag team division is kind of segueing to power. You have Hank and Tank, you have Tyson and Tyreek, you have OTM, you have these big dudes that, now you're going to have, I feel like, who's the other, damn it, I don't remember, Brooks Jensen, maybe Sean Spears, form a tag team, but I feel like this is going to be one of those matches where I also thought Fraxium was going to wind up on Raw. I don't know, I thought that way. But Briggs, Inumura, they would be great face for a tag team division. They would be great. But every single time I feel like Fraxium is going to lose those titles, then they end up shocking the world and, staying tag team champions. So it should be interesting to kind of find out what happens in this match. But, I'm going to stick with Fraxium. They're exciting as hell to watch. But I just don't see that they, anybody else that would step up to the plate and challenge them. Maybe another crossover, maybe a team from Raw, maybe another team from TNA might, try to cement their name or cement their legacy inside it. You recently saw JDC come along, across that forbidden door, or that crossover between TNA and NXT. Maybe the system come over, perhaps. Maybe that would be their next challengers. But overall, it would be interesting to see if Briggs and Inumura, because Briggs he's been roaming around for quite some time. He had that storyline with Jensen that, kind of with the crap. Then he was kind of hidden under the radar a little bit. Then he, getting attacked, and now he has this, new tag team partner from New Japan Professional Wrestling who's internationally known, internationally successful. It wouldn't shock me if they win the tag team titles. Right now I'm kind of, I'm 55% Fraxium winning, but I think Briggs and Inumura have a chance. Next, we have a match that I ultimately feel like this match has kind of already been won by Stephanie Vaquer, but in terms of the Fatal Influence, I feel like to kind of keep that stable, relevant, and dominant in the women's division, because when Vaquer has that NXT North American Women's Championship, I don't think she's gonna, I don't think they're gonna take it off her. I really honestly don't. Could they be building up something like Stephanie Vaquer and Julia one-on-one at Stand and Deliver? Because whenever they're inside the ring together, none of them, they don't really fight each other. So and the fans are begging for it. The fans are literally like, they want these girls to go at it. 2 international stars to main stage the headline that is NXT Stand and Deliver during WrestleMania weekend. So I could see Fallon retaining. I can. I really honestly can. I would see why Shawn would do so. Fallon Henley has been one hell of a champion, obviously dethroning the girl who was the inaugural champion, Kehlani Jordan. So, and I've read online comments saying that, she's the best transitional champion probably that could have held the title on the NXT roster. I do admire Fallon Henley. I do think that she was an admirable champion. The NXT kind of needed that at the moment. But with WWE going a little bit more international with this whole Netflix deal, they're trying to get people, they're trying to get a lot of different demographics, trying to contribute to this niche audience that is professional wrestling. And having somebody like Vaquer holding on to the belt would be beneficial for WWE. So right now, I'm gonna say Stephanie Vaquer takes it. She, it makes sense. It does make sense. I don't know if Shawn Michaels, wants Fallon to retain, and and maybe Julia and Stephanie Vaquer cross paths. But it would be kind of interesting to kind of see what would be the storyline if Fallon Henley retains. I feel like there would be a little bit more open storylines if Vaquer becomes a new champion. You would have a whole bunch of people that want to get their hands on her. A couple people come to mind: Jada Parker, Kehlani Jordan. Who was that guy? Ashanti the Adonis, saying Carmen Petrovich also in line as well. So, or maybe, you might get somebody else from Fatal Influence, like JC Jane or Jasmine Nix going after it. Or maybe they have their eyes set on the Women's World Tag Team Champions. Maybe that's a fact. Maybe that's something that could possibly happen. So, I don't really see anything wrong with Vaquer dethroning Henley, but then at the same time, you don't want the Fatal Influence to end up like the PFC, Pure Fusion Collective, which was, kind of a waste of time. But I don't know, it should be interesting. We have a triple threat. We have a Fatal 4-Way match, so I apologize for the inconvenience. We have a Fatal 4-Way match between Julia, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, and Bayley. I liked it when it was a triple threat match, I gotta be honest. With the addition of Cora Jade, she's been on a roll. She defeated Bayley on NXT in a one-on-one singles bout. She defeated Xia Brookside, TNA Impact last night. So she still has some juice. She could definitely shock the world and be a champion. But, Julia recently getting the belt, I feel like this match is going to heavily influence a rivalry between Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. I feel like Bayley right now, she has the Elimination Chamber to focus on. I bet you Roxanne Perez is the one that gets pinned, and it's going to lead to a nice little feud heading up to NXT Stand and Deliver. I automatically think of Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, former best friends, going at it in a crazy match at Stand and Deliver. Maybe Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade will mimic that same storyline technique. And I would love it. I would love it 1,010%. Cora Jade recently kind of finding herself, kind of finding new ways to win, getting back into that win column instead of being a sidekick. She is the one. She is going to be champion one day. And Roxanne Perez has an Elimination Chamber qualifier match against Raquel Rodriguez. So, it makes no sense for any of these girls to dethrone Julia. Obviously, Julia is going to get the dub. But after, I feel like that's when we will get our shocking factor to it. I feel like Jordynne Grace will come, obviously look Julia dead in the face, wanting to challenge her. In that case, maybe they can start building up something toward NXT Stand and Deliver, where, Lord only knows who would win that match. I would definitely be split 50-50 between Julia and the Juggernaut Jordynne Grace, the former TNA Knockouts World Women's Champion. So, I'm for both of it. I can't wait to see it. Main event time. This match, I feel like this match is just a garbage match. Garbage match. I'm just kidding. No. We all know Oba's going to win. There's no way in hell Grayson Waller is going to be an NXT champion. There's no way in hell Austin Theory is going to win. This is the best way to break up Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. This is great. I mentioned it before in my segment. I think when I was talking about NXT. Grayson Waller, I'm sorry. I respect the man, but he does not belong on the main roster. He does not belong on Raw, does not belong on SmackDown. He belongs in NXT. I was talking about how, the shows have mouths. They already have a mouth superstar. On Raw, you have CM Punk. You have CM Punk to talk. You got Seth Rollins to talk. Now you have Kevin Owens. And then on SmackDown, you have Cody Rhodes, who talks and talks and talks. You have Drew McIntyre, who talks and talks and talks. And then you also have, who else is on SmackDown that is kind of like a mouth? Oh, The Miz. You have The Miz now, who's kind of been a little bit recluse lately in terms of the storyline. Hopefully WWE develops a storyline for The Miz. But Austin Theory, I feel like Grayson Waller is going to take out Austin Theory. Oba Femi's going to come in, kind of throw Grayson Waller out or do something like that. And Austin Theory is going to ultimately blame Grayson Waller for his loss, and then Oba Femi's going to leave smiling. And at the end, we're finally going to get the breakup between A-Town Down Under that should have happened about 4 or 5 months ago. We have the WWE United States division heating up. We have the Intercontinental Championship. I feel like AJ Styles will get a shot. But, Austin Theory, he's a former United States champion, very, very young. Could be a face of the WWE if his storylines are just done right. And I feel like, what's happened in the past, he was the Money in the Bank winner. Didn't really happen. He was the quote-unquote Vince McMahon's last pick. He was his last guy. And once when Vince McMahon kind of went under, the whole Austin Theory story went down under. And, it sucks. It sucks because I feel like he was before his time, I guess you can say. I feel like if Austin Theory, if he would have had a whole different character, whole different, persona switch, and he was the Money in the Bank champion, I feel like fans could have they would have got into that. They would have definitely got into that Austin Theory. They got on that A train, baby. But, overall, there's no way Oba Femi is leaving that match without his title. He's going to win, obviously. I'm confidently saying 100% that Oba Femi is going to retain that title. All right, guys, so do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our next weekend PLE that is actually not on pay-per-view, which is kind of good for AEW. We got AEW Grand Slam Australia talk, so grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice-cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. So make sure you guys smash that like and subscribe button to the show so you guys can follow the show, follow the network. You guys can get some notifications when I go live. Also, when I upload some awesome wrestling content throughout the week. And, some awesome videos. So make sure you guys comment. Make sure you guys, absolutely. I would really love to hear what you guys have to say. It's our podcast. It's our wrestling podcast. And I just want to make everybody, happy, proud, having fun. Nothing more fun than talking sports. Nothing more fun than a podcast with a nice interaction between the fan and the host. So, don't be shy to drop your thoughts inside that comment section. All right, without further ado, we're going to jump on to some AEW Grand Slam Australia. It's and I feel like it's going to be a good one. AEW going to Australia, going across seas at the whole different continent. And, speaking of that, it's after the NBA game. So what time? Isn't it 24 hours? I got to check that out. I feel like Australia is 23 hours away or something like that. I think over there they'll be doing it no, the whole time change, that's insane, that's crazy. But it's gonna be good, it's gonna be great. I'm excited that it's not on pay-per-view. I feel like I love AEW's pay-per-views. I love them, like absolutely admire them. But sometimes Bleacher Report, you got to pay $50, man. I'm like, oh god, that's like half a tank of gas nowadays. I'm just kidding. No, but half a tank of gas, Tony Khan, I'm just kidding. But anyways, AEW Grand Slam Australia. I can't wait. Let's jump on into it. We have the Death Riders, the team of Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley, the AEW World Champion, taking on Cope and Switchblade Jay White in a Brisbane Bowl. This match is obviously, I feel like this is main event. I feel like this is going to be a main event, Well, then again, you do have the Aussies, you do have people actually from Australia. So, I feel like this is going to be a main event. These guys are going to beat the holy hell out of each other. There's going to be blood. Ooh, there's going to be blood. I can't wait to see who gets busted open first. Is Jon Moxley going to put Jay White's head inside a plastic bag? I would not want that. That'd be terrible. I don't want to see any syringes or anything. I'm just kidding. No, that was a pretty crazy AEW All-In, I gotta be honest. But moving on. Jon Moxley is definitely the face that AEW definitely needed with the departure of Cody Rhodes, with the departure of CM Punk. You also saw Bryan Danielson retire. He had some pretty high stakes against him. He was also the IWGP champion that I feel like he ultimately lost so he could become the AEW World Champion. But exciting to watch. I love his promos. I definitely love his promos. The way he reacts and the way he makes a connection to the fans. Like, he literally makes people think. He makes people think whenever he opens his mouth. Every single time he cuts a promo. He relates it to not just the person he's speaking to, more or less just the people who are watching, like in the audience or people tuning in from worldwide. Jon Moxley is definitely one of the best to do it. I'm happy that he's in AEW exploring a new creative side. I heard he actually has creative controls of his own character, which is pretty cool. Probably got some of the Vietnam flashbacks of when he was in WWE, and they did some pretty dumb stuff with his storyline. When he was the moral compass and burning Seth Rollins shirts outside the arena. But no, the way he's doing it with the Death Brothers right now, I gotta be honest. Who's gonna be the winner? I feel like there has to be some heartbreak. I feel like the rest of the matches are going to go the way people think that they're going to go. Ah, man. Where is Wheeler? No, there's going to be... Rated FTR is going to get involved. Also, Wheeler Yuta, Marina Shafir are going to get involved as well. The Bastard Pack. This is going to be one hell of a brawl. I'm going with the Death Riders. I'm going 55% Death Riders, 45% Switchblade, JY, and Cope. The Death Riders, I feel like they need to start building up some momentum, especially toward their title match at AEW Revolution. I feel like if you're Jon Moxley, you want Copeland to feel like absolutely copeless. You see what I did there? I'm just kidding. No, that wants to make him feel absolutely hopeless. So fans will get behind him, because I don't really see Jon Moxley's reign of the AEW World Championship really going anywhere. And if the Christian Cage decides to cash in his contract, I don't think it'd be now. Maybe at Revolution I can see that. Maybe perhaps, I could, I don't know. This is good overall, but I'm interested to see some blood. I can't wait. Obviously, that's the, the Attitude Era guy in me who, you want to see some blood, man. All right, we have the AEW Continental Championship. We have Buddy Matthews and Kazuchika Okada. I feel like this match is going to be probably an instant classic, hopefully. Kazuchika Okada he's gonna retain. They want to build up this match between Omega and him. Every single time they fight, they get 5.5, 10 stars out of 5 from Dave Meltzer. So this is going to be just Buddy Matthews. Just Buddy Matthews stating that, hey, this Hellhounds faction with me, Brody King, and Julia Hart, we're definitely threats to be taken seriously. And, one of those matches where even if Buddy Matthews, even if he loses, he kind of wins. He's going to look like a badass. It's going to look like he's only one move away from winning. He's only one win away from defeating Okada. And then something's going to happen. Okada's going to sneak away. And, he's going to call him the B word again that rhymes with witch. He loves that word, man. It's like he just learned it, once when you were a kid and you learned a curse word and you just say it in every single aspect of life. I feel like that's how Kazuchika Okada is right now, with that word that I can't speak of, with that word that's unspokenable. Next, we have the team, the Dream Team. We got Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega taking on AEW International Champion Kazuchika Okada and the Kyle Fletcher, the Don Callis family. This would be an interesting if there was a twist. It would be, I know this is one of those I feel like this is one of those, it's not PLEs, but then again, it is a PLE. Kind of reminds me of like a Clash of the Castle, Crown Jewel of WWE, where all the fan favorites, they're probably going to win. They're probably going to win because it really has no impact on anything. Because AEW is gearing up toward Revolution next month. So I feel like if there's going to be something big happen, it's going to happen there. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay is going to pick up the dub. It would be pretty big for the Don Callis family, but they've gotten a lot of momentum lately. Lance Archer, kicking ass, Brian Cage kicking ass, and then recently Davis. Damn it, I forgot his name. Being a part and kind of doing the bidding for Don Callis. I ultimately feel like this is going to be a great way to showcase a lot of talent that AEW desperately. I feel like they need this match to be great. You have a New Japan Professional Wrestling guru. You have a young rising star in Kyle Fletcher, a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion. You have Kenny Omega, who, enough said, it's Kenny Omega. And Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin. You're going to see some crazy stuff. It would be kind of cool to kind of see this match being like, Falls Count Anywhere. That'd be pretty badass. But, of course, you do have the Brisbane Bowl. But this is going to be one display of wrestling that you do not want to miss. I want to see how Kenny Omega, I want to see how he wrestles. He recently coming fresh. I feel like this is his third match in AEW since coming back from that injury that sidelined him for over a year. But we're ultimately going to see Will Ospreay do his thing. We're going to see. But then what's going to happen with the Don Callis family would be kind of weird in some alternate universe, and there's 96.3% chance that this will never happen. Maybe Will Ospreay turns on Kenny Omega and joins the Don Callis family once again. That would be pretty interesting. But it won't happen. Like I said, that would be a nice little turn, but it'd be kind of a little turn like, okay, you got the shock factor. Now what? Now what happens with Will Ospreay? Right now, AEW is kind of crawling with a lot of heels now. So you saw the switch between the Undisputed Kingdom. You saw the switch between Switchblade, Jay White, and the Guns. Now we're all, now they've kind of become baby faces, and Will Ospreay as well. Huge baby face. Highly liked by the AEW universe, and now you have Kenny Omega to kind of headline that. So, I don't really see that turn happening. Maybe it would be, kind of a, shocking turn, but overall this match is definitely going to be, it's going to be a must watch. I feel like all these matches are must watch. This one's going to be one of my favorite matches to watch. Mariah May defends her AEW World Women's Championship against the timeless Toni Storm. These two women, both absolutely impressive. Not knocking on Mariah May or anything like that, because I partially kind of blame the reign of terror that Mercedes Moné is having over the AEW women's division. You don't really see a lot of pizzazz. I don't know if that makes sense. You don't see a lot of different. I feel like the AEW women's division was better. But like I said, the new signing between Mercedes Moné and once when Moné came to AEW, she got all the spotlight, all the gold, all the money. And obviously that does play into her character quite quite a bit, and, you got to respect it because she is, she's a great wrestler, and, her perception of her obviously is, the way she kind of holds herself inside the ring, and, she puts on some pretty good matches, but, having like 4 bells, like, come on, dude, I'm just kidding. Dude, come on, man, it's time to share. But Mariah May, Toni Storm, this is going to be one of the greatest matches, on the card. Next, we have the TBS Championship. We have Harley Cameron taking on Mercedes Moné. Will Harley Cameron do the impossible? Highly underdog here. I feel like Mercedes Moné needs to put over Harley Cameron in this match, but will it happen? Not too sure. Not too sure if it's going to happen. We need a different flavor, like I said, a different pizzazz in the women's division. Harley Cameron is kind of like a, she's kind of like a Joe Hendry. She's a Joe Hendry of AEW. She could do the concerts, and then she has this whole ventriloquism. She could do puppeteering, and she's just she can sing. She has she's funny. She's funny. She's a different take on the TBS Championship. You never really would have a TBS champion like that. Ultimate babyface going up against the ultimate in-your-face, I'm better than you, conceited, cocky, elegant heel that is Mercedes Moné. So this is going to be a match a lot of people are going to be paying attention to. Definitely, I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to it because, I'm always down for the underdog. But, based on, how Mercedes Moné has been handled in AEW, one of those things where it wouldn't shock me if Harley Cameron comes up empty. It's going to show that she is a potential title contender for the future. Maybe she loses tonight, or maybe she loses on Grand Slam, or maybe she gets another title shot at Revolution. But, if there's anybody that's going to take a title away from Mercedes Moné, why not Harley Cameron? Harley Cameron would be an amazing addition to like a full-time run in AEW, on the AEW roster. But let's see if Tony Khan sees it that way. I know Mercedes Moné, she has creative control of her own character. So, I feel like right now, you do kind of got to put Harley Cameron over. I feel like, Mercedes Moné, I think she's undefeated in singles competition at AEW. But just something different, man. I feel like AEW needs a different taste. Like, imagine if AEW Dynamite once a week, you get a nice little, Harley Cameron skit, like I said, a concert or like an acting montage or some stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, it would be kind of different. I feel like it'd be a nice different, 1,010%. But, it's going to happen. Who knows? Like I said, we do have an ultimate underdog going up against the ultimate heel. And, I feel like AEW needs to do this one right. All right, guys. 5th and final segment. We got WWE Superstars released. We're going to talk about some of them. Well, we're going to talk about all of them. And we're going to talk about maybe some potential superstars that might be in line of getting let go. We're going to talk about them when we come back. So grab your favorite snack. Grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere. Alright, we're back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night. I always want to keep saying Monday through Friday. Every Monday night, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, all the backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. We talk about inactive statuses and injury updates. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions from AEW to New Japan Professional Wrestling to WWE to TNA to Ring of Honor to New Japan Professional Wrestling. Once again, if it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show flat out. So, Superman, punch that like and subscribe button, and all your dreams will come true. Especially, if your dreams are listening and watching some more awesome wrestling content. So make sure, make sure you guys comment. Definitely comment, 1,010%. All right, so recently, we've seen some WWE superstars get released, and it's been heartbreaking. It's these guys. I'm just kidding. Imagine that. That would be like, whoa, like that'd be crazy. The world would probably be ending if that was happening. But WWE just recently had one of its most successful PLEs, one of the most successful Royal Rumble in company history, and to make a roster spot, man, it's extremely, absolutely cutthroat, and it's tough. It is tough, 1,010%. It's not easy. It's not easy, in this world of professional wrestling, especially with, you got to worry about cutoff times, you got to worry about advertisements, you got to worry about who's marketable, who's not marketable, you got to worry about who has the momentum, who does the fans like, who's gonna make sure they put the fans' butts in the seats, they, pay for subscriptions for Peacock and, Netflix, because at the end of the day, you're kind of fighting for revenue here. So you want the best talent, you already have WWE has a stacked roster on SmackDown and Raw. It's to the point where, maybe they should introduce another, title for the men, because, having a heavyweight and having a mid-card one would be, it's kind of hard. Maybe they should have not like a featherweight, or something like that. Would be kind of like, maybe like a UFC, like kind of themed title or something. I'm just kidding, no. Or maybe bring back, I really hope they would bring back 205 Live. I would have loved for them to bring back 205 Live, because a lot of luchadors, a lot of high flyers left WWE, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. It was terrible. I hated it. So moving on to some people who were released, we got the Good Brothers, who made their debut in WWE 2016. They were released in 2020, but then they came back and had a nice little run in TNA. They linked up with AJ Styles, while AJ Styles fooled everyone and joked about being retired and stuff, pulled a Mark Henry. The Good Brothers were there to kind of support his brother, let's do it. But, it's kind of sad, because when I started getting back into professional wrestling, it was around 2016. I took a little bit of hiatus because it was just, John Cena winning everything. Storylines were getting a little dry. Even back then, it was still a little dry. But I remember the Good Brothers. They were Raw Tag Team Champions, and they were fun to watch. It was kind of cool. But I ultimately feel like the Good Brothers, they're gonna find other work. They've been successful all over the world of international wrestling, independent wrestling circuits. So there's no surprise to me that you will see the Good Brothers. Maybe they wind up back in New Japan Professional Wrestling, or maybe they find their way into stardom. I highly doubt they'll go to AEW. I honestly don't think so. I don't think so whatsoever. But it's kind of sad to lose the Good Brothers. Giovanni Vinci, my man, former member of an Imperium, being laid waste by Ludwig Kaiser. And then coming back, you had those nice little, videos and promos of him coming off as this suave, elegant Italian dude ready to rain some damage on WWE, only to suffer embarrassing loss after embarrassing loss. And it was tough. You can definitely, you could see on the face of Giovanni Vinci once he was inside the ring, and when the end of the result happened. A lot of fans were kind of shaking their heads. They're like, "Whoa, what the hell just happened? This guy literally got kicked out of a faction." Then WWE, put him in good storylines. He's a loser. He doesn't ever get back onto his own 2 feet, and and it sucks. I feel for Giovanni Vinci. Well, outside the WWE, I gotta be honest. I feel like ultimately his, I feel like a lot of what his physique and a lot of what he brings to the wrestling ring, a lot of wrestling promotions kind of already have. He's kind of like that, I don't want to say like he's like a piece of toast where, it's kind of just a little bit of plain, maybe a little bit of flair here and there. But, he's not the best high flyer. Maybe there's a reason why he was released by WWE. Once again, like, definitely, feel for anybody being released for WWE. Would never wish release upon anybody. But, Giovanni Vinci, man, like, I don't know if it was something he did. I don't know if the way he wrestled inside the ring, they were kind of like, all right, we've kind of seen what we all got and see, and, that's that. Giovanni Vinci, bam, gone. But, I kind of feel for him. That sucks, man. Cedric Alexander leaving, not being signed to WWE. I remember when he was in the cruiserweight division. It was badass. The Hurt Business during the WWE Thunderdome, where he was a tag team champion with Shelton Benjamin. And now maybe he will join the Hurt Syndicate. Maybe that's the reason why Ricochet never joined AEW's Hurt Syndicate. Maybe that's why. Or we never got a third member. Maybe they were expecting Cedric to be released by WWE. He was kind of floating backstage for quite some time. Great locker room guy. I heard he's really good to kind of have around. But now maybe he can link up with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin once again and be successful as the Hurt Syndicate in AEW. I, more often than not, kind of think that's going to be the future. I think that's going to happen. This team was released in 2020. AOP, Ellery as well. Sucks because when these guys came back, I thought that it was going to be a different. I thought WWE was going to handle AOP differently, and it all happened the same. The same thing happened, between Ankam and Bizarre. Like, it's, I know these guys are big, and a lot of times in the world of wrestling, the big super heavyweight guys, they're kind of underplayed. You kind of think in the past with the Big Show, he didn't get very much WWE World Championship reigns. No, he didn't. He was a big guy. You could fool the WWE, the wrestling universe, so much. It was like, okay, if you have the title on this guy, and it'd be kind of hard to dethrone him, but then you would have the Big Show lose against a superstar that was smaller than him. So with these bigger superstars, it's kind of difficult to kind of have bookings for him. You're seeing it now with Braun Strowman. What's the right fit for him? And right now, you're kind of seeing it right now with the Wyatt Six. Sometimes you can ultimately kind of come off as a little bit too dominant to the point where it's like, you know what, it's not really marketable. I can't really find something that, the fans could ultimately wrap their heads around, because the whole time they're like, man, this guy's huge. Why isn't this guy winning right now? WWE, I think they brought back Omos, which I feel like is a huge mistake. I feel like it is kind of a mistake, but it's sad to see AOP. There was such a huge success in WWE NXT. Then they made it back to NXT, and like I said, nothing really came in fruition for them, which ultimately sucked. Sonya Deville, the leader of Pure Fusion Collective, is gone from WWE. I feel for Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. I thought when these three women linked together, this was going to be an amazing women's faction that we're going to get, that brought back two highly underrated superstars. I like Zoe Stark, and like Shayna Baszler, who never really got any love, who never really got any attention, who never really got a shot to have a solid storyline. I felt like, WWE storyline was like, oh, okay, we need somebody to come in here and kick everyone's ass. Oh, we'll do Shayna Baszler, Oh, we need somebody to accompany Trish Stratus, so Trish Stratus can later abuse them and start a little feud. And then, that was Zoe Stark. And Sonya Deville as well. Like, I remember when she was a part of, no, it wasn't Absolution. Was it Absolution? No, it wasn't. Was it? I think it was. Maybe I got that one right. But she left WWE for quite some time. I heard it was due to a backstage incident where, a crazy fan or something was trying to kidnap her or something. And, all bad. And it was hard for her to come back from that. And then when she finally came back to WWE, I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. She's doing what she loves. She's doing what she's, what she's born to do. She's super talented. She's great on the mic. She has that like in-your-face attitude, which I think a lot of WWE superstars, it's kind of rare to have that. The moment you kind of walk onto the stage, you just a little intimidating, to be honest. I see it with Charlotte Flair. I feel like her and Charlotte Flair kind of have that same like like that snarl look on their face where, it's not resting B face. It's not that. It's kind of like, this girl, like if you actually challenge her to like a real life fight or something like that, she could, she could break some bones, some cheekbones with one shot into the face. But, it kind of sucks. I hate seeing Sonya Deville leave. We have one half of the Unholy Union, Isla Dawn, gone. Sucks. But, women's tag team division, it's Blair Davenport as well. She was drafted to WWE SmackDown, had a little stint with Naomi, and then after that just never really benefited, never really paid off. So, Blair Davenport on the list, Duke Hudson as well, and Elektra Lopez. Duke Hudson, I guess he wasn't released. I guess his developmental contract just wasn't renewed. But Elektra Lopez, I thought she was going to get a little bit more attention on SmackDown now that SmackDown is going to 3 hours up until June or July, per words by Triple H. I thought she was going to, kind of be a wild card in the women's division, but, we're not going to see it. Not going to see it, and it sucks. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. Okay, so we talked about some of the superstars that are released. Now we're going to talk about some superstars who potentially might be next. I got Carlito. I got JD McDonough. And only because Rey Mysterio is the father of Dirty Dominic Mysterio, he's here to stay. I feel like, he's here to stay. JD McDonough suffering a punctured lung in that War Raiders match, so he's going to be out for quite some time. If the Judgment Day doesn't find a new direction where they could possibly have Carlito inside it somehow, I don't see a reason to bring this guy back. I don't see a reason to renew a contract. It was a nice little breath of nostalgia. I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. And then he joins the LWO. Then he stabs Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee in the back. Then he joins Legado del... Was he part of Legado? No, Legado del Fantasma wouldn't take him. So then Carlito Lost Soul wound up on the Judgment Day. But I definitely think he might be one of those superstars. I feel like he might be next. And it's sad. It sucks. But like I said before, definitely not wishing, release on any of these superstars. But I don't know. Katana Chance and Katie Carter, have not seen them on WWE on the, I haven't seen them on a tube for quite some time. I hope that they don't break up. I hope that they don't leave WWE or get released. But it's been a while. It has been a while. Very talented inside the ring. Very talented. But they are, that tandem tag team a little small. And then with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, and it sucks because I felt like ultimately if these two girls get released, and I'm not trying to place the blame on the superstars themselves, but Jade, Bianca, they're single superstars. They should be contending against each other, not tag teaming. Look what's happened to the women's tag team division now that they're a dominant tag team, like the Unholy Union. Maybe they could have had a different storyline for the Unholy Union. Who knows? Maybe you would see Katana Chance and Kaden Carter be a little bit more successful on Raw. Maybe we will see more of Damage Control. Maybe we will see more of Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. I mentioned it before, and I kind of took it back, but now I'm kind of seeing the ultimate picture. I hated it once when Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill teamed up to become the Women's World Championship, the Women's Tag Team Champions. I hated it. I was disgusted. And then I kind of fell in love with it because I was like, okay, these girls actually do a good job of putting over talent that, you kind of look at them side to side on the match card. And on paper, it seems like Bianca and Jade would just absolutely demolish them. They made other teams look good. They made them look strong. They made them look very, very innovative inside the ring. And but now you're kind of seeing the overall longing effects of it. And this whole Jade Cargill storylines, don't touch the Women's Tag Team Championships until we get this Jade Cargill thing figured out. And I don't know. I feel like something needs to happen. Something needs to happen before WrestleMania. This needs to be different. The Women's Tag Team division needs a different flavor. Alba Fire, I think she's the next one to be gone. What's the whole Unholy Union without Isla Dawn and Alba Fire together? Kind of sucks. It'd be kind of sad to see her go. Zoe Stark, I mentioned it before. Without the Pure Fusion Collective thing really being a success. Once again, maybe these girls could have won the World Tag Team titles as well, man. Oh no, I'm just kidding. Well, maybe, maybe I'm too attached to it. But Zoe Stark definitely on that list. I see the Alpha Academy again. Tozawa, Otis, also Maxine Dupree. Time is only ticking. They need a nice little storyline. B-Fab, part of Hit Row. I think she was part of Hit Row that had Swerve on it. She's part of the Profits kind of stable right now, but it's only a matter of time. I've seen her inside the ring. She's very, very, very talented. I ultimately think it would be a nice little feud to kind of have her and Chelsea Green, battle it out for the championship. I ultimately think she'd be a better United States Women's Champion than Chelsea Green. But I know Chelsea Green, she has that it in your face kind of attitude, cockiness, conceited. So but I'm high on B-Fab. I think she's an amazing competitor. I think she could carry a title. But right now, she's kind of with Mi Chin. Maybe they're kind of going to form a tag team championship for the women's to kind of save both their careers. I feel like this would be a nice spot. Apollo Crews, rarely on WWE SmackDown. I definitely think he might be next. Pete Dunne could also be next. When he was tag team with Tyler Bate, they were a very likable tag team. But then, Tyler Bate got injured. Pete Dunne on his own. Then he went back to the old brute thing and don't call me butch and then all this other stuff. And, this whole thing, he might be forming a tag team with Ludwig Kaiser. And if that's the case, then that needs to be successful for him to stay on WWE. Also for him to, I don't know what's going to happen with Pete Dunne. Tyler Bate, too. He got injured. Now, he's coming back. Zero momentum, zero character direction. Do you try to revamp the Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate thing? I forgot what their team was actually called. Damn it. I can't believe... No, that's not... But he needs a direction as well when he comes back. All of Chase U. Is all of Chase U done? Andre Chase without Chase U seems like it's not really going anywhere. We haven't seen Thea Hale on NXT or Riley Osborne. They haven't really been showcased on the program. Are they done with WWE? Are they? It's highly believable that they are. It is 1,010%. I wanted to see this stable revamped, maybe going to SmackDown, because they were huge. You had the Chase U section in NXT, in the Performance Center. They were very likable stable, and it seems kind of sucks that they are chosen to disband. But Riley Osborne, super successful. He could definitely be someone to defeat. He could be in the X Division on TNA. Would love that. Andre Chase and Duke Hudson maybe potentially going to TNA. Thea Hale would be an absolute awesome addition to the TNA Knockouts, division. But hey, honestly, I feel like these superstars have even though they are being released, I don't feel like it's over yet. Jim Ross basically said he told the talent this after the release. He said, just stay positive and regroup. It's not the end of the world. More opportunities will come. What kills you sometimes is how talents react to the bad news and how it makes them overly negative, and that is not good. And he's right. Jim Ross is right, 1,010%. You can't get negative about this. You can't. Because fortunately for all the wrestlers out there, and we're going to talk about it right now, what JBL said, right now in terms of professional wrestling, there's a lot of more opportunities than there ever has been in terms of professional wrestling outside of working with WWE. So, you don't have to, stick a fork in it and call it done. Like what Jim Ross said, I know a lot of people think that, making it to WWE, that's the dream. But in reality, when you make it to WWE, it's just the beginning. It's how you react. It's how you train to become better. It's how you, perceive your storylines. It's how you perform inside the ring on your promos. And a lot of these superstars that are released, I really honestly, all talented. Absolutely all talented, 1,010%. I ultimately feel like we're going to see these wrestlers somewhere else. And it's going to be great. There's no doubt in my mind that we will see these wrestlers wrestle once again. Once again, seems like it's kind of sad, but, I definitely have faith in everybody, all the superstars that we spoke about. And, obviously Jim Ross and JBL, too, they all believe it. So, and you know what? Since they believe, I believe. I believe. I'm just kidding. No. Well, guys, that's it. That's my show for today. Hope you guys liked it. Make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network. Follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, we have all these other amazing sports podcasts on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you guys check those out. I guarantee you that you will love them. 1,010%. I give you the Eric Rodriguez guarantee with your money back. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. You can subscribe, you can like, you can follow, and guess what? You get absolutely free content that you guys can consume. Definitely a great way to keep up with your sports if you can't, afford streaming services and stuff like that. The GSMC Sports Network, we always stand up for the little guys. So definitely can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Make sure you drop your comments inside those videos whenever you get done watching them. Or drop a thumbs up if you like it. You have some awesome, hot takes in professional wrestling. You can drop those in the comment section too. So once again, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Have a beautiful, safe, fun-loving weekend. I don't know if any of you guys are going to catch the Daytona 500 NASCAR starting. We have the NBA All-Star Game as well this week, like I said before. And what we talked about, we have AEW Grand Slam Australia. We have NXT Vengeance Day. Loads and loads of sports. So you guys have fun. Have a great time. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great. I don't wanna go